doing, everybody? My name is David Step Gibbons Jr., born and raised in North Chicago, Illinois. I'm also a business owner in Waukegan, the Gentleman's Club Barber Lounge, as well as Think Like a Lady Beauty Bar. I'm also a musician. I'm a drummer and producer. I've been playing the drums for 31 years, professionally for the past 15, 16 years. During this time of the COVID, also known as the pandemic, I have taken a few losses. At the same time, I've gained a lot as well. Some of the losses that I've taken is by me being a business owner. My shop was shut down for a few months, and during that time, but outside of that, I had goals in mind when I opened up the shop, and one of my goals was to open up a salon. So with the downtime that I had, instead of me focusing my energy on what I lost and the time that I was away from the shop due to everything, I re-strategized some things and I remodeled my shop and opened up the beauty salon. And so I accomplished goals during this time. Some people was not as fortunate to be able to do that, but I myself, I took the negative and turned it into a positive, because before the COVID took place, I would always say, man, I don't have enough time to do everything that I want to do. So when COVID hit, it was like, I have nothing but time. Going through all of that mentally as a business owner, it can affect you. Even as a musician, that was another form of income, how I provided for my family. I felt like that was taken away. There were no venues for my band, the band 7501, for us to play at. I did an open mic weekly at Stretcher Sports Bar and Grill. We wasn't able to do that. So, that's a very important outlet as creatives, as musicians, and even for the average working individual. Sometimes you just want to go somewhere, hear some good music, and that's what I provided for them. So during that time, it was like, what can we do? So when I first opened up the shop, I had started something called Barbershop Soul Sessions. And what I would do is we invite an artist, my band we set up inside the shop. It'd be an intimate crowd, and we'd just play, perform. It wasn't scripted. We didn't have to follow set lists. We didn't have to follow the guidelines. As a musician, sometimes we just want to, just be free. And that's what we were able to do with the Barbershop Soul Sessions. So what kept me going as an artist and keep that burn going as far as the creativity, once things began to let back up and they did allow the shops and stuff to open up, although the shops were able to open back up, the bars and things like that in different venues were still closed down. So I took advantage of that opportunity to bring back up the 7501 Barbershop Soul Sessions. And you may hear me say 7501 a lot, so what I want to do right now is just what that means. And what that means, 7501, my cousin Gregory Gump Colbert Jr. was taken away from us in 2001. And he was born in 1975. So what I did was just combine those numbers, not just numbers just to put together. He was a barber, he was a artist, a dancer, a songwriter, rapper, and he was also a drummer. So I feel like I picked up the torch where he left it for me, and I'll be moving forward. And wherever I go, whatever stage I play, I will always represent and let the world know that, to me, he was one of the greatest. So that's what I really want to express to the local artists and whoever is watching this. Whatever you put your mind to do, do it. If you're ever feeling discouraged or down, talk to someone. Don't feel like no one understands and no one cares. Someone cares and someone definitely understands. And that's one thing, during this time of the pandemic, especially as creatives, it's important to reach out to other creatives just to encourage them, to see where they are, to see where their mind is at, because it affects us all differently. And that's very important, just to check on someone. Just say, hey, you was on my mind. How's things going? Is there anything I could do for you? Not out of just that's the right thing to say or do, but genuinely you're concerned. And that goes a long way for someone just to know that they're missed. What they do is missed. Their creativity is missed. And Sometimes some artists may have taken this time, and it could have been a depressing time for them, without not knowing how to be able to uh, get their ideas out. But if you look at it on the bright side, for those that's always on the go, now's the time to use this time off, and where things are not as open as they were before, to hold yourself accountable. And that would be one thing that I would say that I did during this time, is holding myself accountable. Right now, I'm sitting in my home studio, and it wasn't here before. I utilized this time to, like I said, get back to the goals that I had set for myself. So now I could record myself live drums and all of that, and that's what I will be doing during this time. It's just accomplish my goals one by one, and so far, the goals that I had set, I am accomplishing them one by one, and that's what's keeping me going as an artist, is not forgetting, holding myself accountable. And if I would say anything, it's definitely hold yourself accountable. One thing that I really appreciate, and that I drew inspiration from, is my god brother Keelan. During this time, he never stopped. He kept going, working on his project, and I would call him often a lot. What are you doing? How did you do this? And how's this going for you? How's this process? Which led me to my goal, which is here. He always keeps me going and holds me accountable. And so that's one thing I really appreciate. But if I would say anything to the community, never give up. Always keep one foot forward. Most importantly, keep God first. Keep your faith. Stay strong in it. Go back and think about all the things that you have accomplished with having time as something that we take for granted. And think about how much you did not accomplish. And then begin to think about, with the time that you have on your hand, what have you done with the time on your hand? And you don't have to be a creative, as far as a musician or anything like that. If you have goals or different things that you want to do in life, now is the time to re-strategize, to go back to the table and regroup. And the minute you start dealing with doubt, just go back and think about all that you have done, and let that be fuel and motivation for you to continue on and to grow. Growth is key, and you can't grow if you're living in defeat. So stop living in defeat and grow. And that's all. Thank you for listening.